Hi, everybody. This is Terry Bowen, and welcome to Making 2018 Great. I'm really excited about teaching this class or doing this event with you because there's a couple of reasons why I'm doing it. One, today's a new moon, so there's good energy to kind of focus on the new beginnings, the new things that you're looking for. Two is that we're coming up to the solstice. Is that time of kind of looking back, reflecting, and just seeing what's been happening. But also, three, I think I'm doing it for personal reasons as well. There's things that have happened in my life, and I realize that sometimes one event can kind of outdo absolutely everything that's going on in our lives. And so it's important to really focus on not just the one bad event, but also to kind of really focus on some of the good events, the good things that have been happening. So this this is a time really, and I think there's been so much happening in the world recently. There's the natural, I don't want to say disasters, but it pretty much is the fires in California, um, the wars that we kind of have around in the world, the way governments are working and things that are happening in that way as well. And I'm not a political person, and that's not what you're going to get from me tonight. But it's really, I also believe that within ourselves, we're the ones that can make the change. We're the ones that can do the most. But it's not anything that we can do outside of ourselves. It's always what we can do within, first of all. And that's what I'm really kind of focusing on tonight. A couple of things that you're going to need. You will need pens, you will need paper. So that you can be able to write down some of the things that come up for you. And also, if you've got the chance, I recommend getting some water, just because I've got a big glass here with me. But also, we're going to do a couple of meditations, and it's good to kind of just make sure that we're hydrated so you can get the most out of it. This Making 2018 great it's kind of something that I've been doing over the last few years. I usually do it around the solstice time, and a few years ago I did a winter solstice event, and I've taken a lot of what I did there and brought it into the now. And in Making 2018 great, I have to make sure I'm saying 2018, not just 2008. But Making 2018 great really is a way of actually allowing ourselves to kind of step into the new year with kind of renewed energy, with renewed vigor, with renewed goals, renewed ideas, new things that we want to try out. And so just taking time out to reflect on what's happened in the past year can really kind of give us a sense of what's going on. Now, my first question, I'm going to get you to write down what comes up for you. But it is, what was 2017 like for you? Now, I am consciously aware that we've kind of got another 10, 12 days, a bit longer than that. But we've got a few more days left of 2017. But as we're kind of heading up to Christmas, things may be slowing down or speeding up if you're like me, trying to get all your Christmas presents in at the last minute. And it doesn't help if you buy things for yourself and forgot to buy things for other people. I learned that today. However, it is important to really just kind of have a look back. What has 2017 been like for you? What's the word that comes up, or what's the feeling? Was it a kind of a great year, or did you have lots of fun? Was it a bit of an year? Or how is it kind of ending up for you at the moment? I have to admit, mine's not ending in the greatest of ways. Something happened at the end of November, and it's really tainted the way that I feel about this year, even though I know that there have been so many great things that I have done and so many great places that I visited. But that first question, just asking yourself, what is it that 2017, what does that mean to me at this moment in time? And we're not judging it. We're not kind of saying that, this is the reason why it's like this. What we're doing is really taking that time to have a look and just say, this is how it's been for me. This is what it's been like. If I was to sum up 2017 right now, before I even do some of the stuff that we're going to do, it's kind of like, it's a bit, it's just like I really got hit sideways by, I don't even know how to describe it, but I got knocked down onto my bum, and getting up has been quite hard. It's been quite difficult, kind of dusting myself off and just getting on with things and putting a smile on my face, which is sometimes what I'm expected to do. So if I think about it in that way and what's happened in the last few months, it's been tough. And I think that's probably the word that it's been. It's been tough. It's really tested me and who I am. However, I also know that I managed to go to a concert in a different country. I spent time going around the Harry Potter world of Universal Studios with my friends. I met the love of my life. There's all these wonderful things that have also happened, but I'm just kind of basing it on the last 2, 3 weeks. All I can come up with is tough. This year's been tough. When if I really think about it, it hasn't been. It's not been that bad. So the reason I want to do this and the reason I'm going to kind of take you through this process that I've been doing is that it really allows you and gives you an opportunity to say, actually, this is what's happened in my year. Actually, this is what's been going on. Now, I know that I'm doing this live, and if you're watching this in the recording, that's great as well. But if you are live and you've got any questions in between, unfortunately, I think my website's having a little bit of a play about today, and that I couldn't update my website. But if you send me an email to terryspiritual@gmail.com, I'm certainly be able to answer any questions. Now, I'm not going to be doing readings, but I will be doing. If you've got any questions about something that's come up or something that you want me to go over again, then please send me an email. Alternatively, if you go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Terry Spiritual, then I can also answer you there. I'm not too sure I'll be able to get to comments live on YouTube, but I'm certainly going to give it a go just to kind of see if you've got any questions, if there's anything that comes up for you. So making 2018 great. How has this year been? So I've asked this question already, but how has this year been? And is it one if you think about this year, is it something that's really empowered you? Because not everything is bad. I don't like to just look at the negative stuff, but has it left you feeling empowered, or has it just really brought your energy down and you're one of these ones that can't wait for the year to be over? And I have to admit, I'm probably on the latter part. I can't wait for this year to be over because I think good things are coming up for the next year. However, just being aware of how it is that you're starting off and how it is that you're feeling is really important. The thing that I like to do when I review 2017 is to just go back and think about each of the individual months and think about the things that happened. And that's what we're going to do next, is to go through each month and just kind of write down a couple of words or a couple of things that happened within that month. And the way that I do it is I go backwards, because if I was to say to you, right, go back to January, what happened? You're going to be like, oh, I'm not too sure. However, if you think about what's happened this month, so I know the only 18th of December, but if you think about what's happened in in these 18 days, what's gone on in December, you've kind of got probably a better memory. If you think about what happened in November, again, you probably know a little bit more about what happened. So what I want you to do is on your piece of paper is just to write down the 12 months. You can write them forward, so January, February, March onwards to December, or you can do it the other way around. It's really up to you. But I want you to write down the 12 months. So writing it, but as you write down the 12 months, give yourself a little bit of space, because you want to write maybe 2 or 3 things underneath each of those months as we go through them. So you want to make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of space to just write down what it is that you've experienced. And once you've done that, we're going to just do a little exercise to just close your eyes and just bring your awareness to your breath. And as you focus on your breath, just allowing everything to go quiet, allowing everything to go still, and then bring to mind what's happened this month, what's been going on. And then just open your eyes and writing down whatever it is that comes up. It doesn't have to be good, and we don't have to judge it. We can just write down this is what's happened. And continue, and I want you to now think back to November. What happened last month? What happened in November? What events took place? What stands out for you? What was good? What was not so good? Okay, that's good. And now going back to October, what happened in October? And if you can't remember anything, that's okay. Just write down, I can't remember. You can always come back to this in your own time. But whatever comes to mind, just write down what happened in October. And now September. What happened for you in September? What was going on? Okay, that's good. And now August. What do you remember about August? What did you notice? What was going on? What do you remember? And again, if you don't remember, that's okay. You can come back to this. And then back to July. Sometimes those summer months. What was July like for you? What do you remember happening? I got to experience my first 4th of July in America and some other good things. What else happened for you? Okay, that's good. Going back to June. So what happened in June? What did you notice? What did you experience? And again, don't worry if you can't remember. Just write that down and then you can come back to it later. Okay, and then going back to May. What happened in May? Okay, that's good. And is there anything else? And it's okay if the answer's no, that's fine too. All right, and April. What happened in April? What do you remember? What do you experience? Okay, that's good. Okay, you're doing well. And now just going back to March. What happened in March? Okay, that's good. And anything else? Okay, you're doing good. And so that was March. Now going back to February. What happened in February? What do you remember? What just pops into your mind? And it's okay if things happen in different months and you've kind of got that maybe not so right. It's okay, we're just writing down what it is that we experienced. And finally, in January. What happened in January? What did you experience? What did you notice? What did you feel? That's good. So allowing yourself that time just now, just to kind of reflect again over the year, maybe starting at the beginning, going January, and then just kind of coming through the months February, March, and onwards. What is it that you notice? Have you written down kind of mostly negative things, or are there some good stuff in there as well? What shows up for you? Was there anything that you kind of forgotten and it suddenly kind of jumps out at you? You're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot that. For me, when I was doing this myself, it's just like I got down to June, and it's just like, oh, I can't remember what happened in June. But actually, I went to a concert in Las Vegas, which was one of the craziest things I've ever done, and I kind of regretted it, or my credit card regretted it. But it was actually a really great time. But it was just little things like that. But then also, um, when I kind of looked at some of the other months, it was just like, oh yeah, I can't remember. I can't believe I've forgotten some of the other stuff that had happened. So as I mentioned, one of the things that we're going to do is actually look at some of the stuff that happened in 2017, and in particular, we're going to look at something that was maybe a little bit difficult, and I want to help you kind of turn that around a little bit so that you're not held with it as a negative thing, and that when you think back to 2017, it's not just seen through the lens of that one event. And as I mentioned, for me, I had quite a traumatic experience at the end of November, and I think it was Saturday the 25th, if I remember rightly. I just finished a concert, and I was going to pick my partner up at the airport, and things just didn't work out. And at the time, it was just kind of like, okay, what do I do with this? And for me, it was really quite difficult because when you're faced with something that you just don't expect to happen, it can kind of leave you quite numb. It can leave you quite disorientated, and it really kind of throws you um, from your core. It really throws you from who it is that you are, and things aren't going the way that you expect them to. And I've been a great believer of the experiences that we go through really help us to grow spiritually, not just kind of to help others here that are on the earth plane with us, but also just allows ourselves to really step into our own and to kind of discover parts of ourselves that we kind of may not have known were there. And what do I mean by that? Is that, and sometimes it's within the darkest moments that we get to find the greatest light. And as I was reflecting back on 2017, and in particular November, I was just like, November is such a horrible month. Because of that one event. But I seem to have forgotten that I went to a concert that particular night. I got to see Steps, which, for those in the US, are a UK band that have been going kind of 20 odd years now. Very kind of pop, very, very good feel good music. And I had an absolutely fantastic time at the concert. And yet, part of me forgets that I went there because of other things that had happened. I also was in Orlando, where I was a co-organizer for a conference called A Home for Your Soul within interior alignment and soul coaching, two schools of coaching and feng shui that I've been a big part of my life for the last 10 years. And I kind of forgot that I spent a weekend in Orlando, or nearly a week in Orlando, sorry, in a weekend conference, and going to Universal Studios and exploring the Harry Potter world, which I'm a big fan, because of that one event. And I had to kind of, it took me some time to kind of think about, well, why is it at that one event? And yes, it was really traumatic. And yes, it still has its kind of the ripple effect. Things are still going on now. Even though I've got to a point where things are being sorted out, there is still that sense of my 2017 being dictated by that one event. And I thought, no, that's not how I want it to be. So I looked and I thought to myself, well, what is it that I've experienced? What is it that I've learned from that particular event that I can turn it around, that I can make it into a positive? And so the one word came up, and that was that I'm resilient. And I thought, well, I don't know if I really want to be resilient for the whole of my life. But that traumatic event and the things that happened afterwards, and the things that kind of allowed me to kind of step into my own, really enabled me to kind of step into my own power in some way, because I was then able to kind of think, well, do you know what? I am quite resilient in that you can knock me down and things can not go my way, but I can stand back up and I can kind of walk on and I can make new plans and I can adapt and I can change. And even though I don't like the event that happened, and I don't think I'll ever like what happened, there's something that I've gained from that, and that was that resilience. And it was the ability for me to then stand up for myself and actually say, no, this is what I want. No, this is what I'm looking for. And that resilience has actually helped me kind of carry on in other parts. I've recently stepped down from a position that I had, a volunteer position, which I loved. But it was also not allowing me to do some of the things that I really love to do. And I think if I hadn't had that event happen, I would have never have stepped away from the other things that I'm now stepping away to give more time to doing the things that I love to do. So as I look back on 2017 now and think about it, it's been a change, a time of transformation, a time of change, but it's also I'm actually a lot more resilient. And in some ways actually more stronger. I think resilient is the word I don't really like so much, but stronger comes from that because I'm now able to stand up and say, actually, this is what I want, and this is what I'm looking for in my life. So I want you to just spend a moment, just kind of have a look through and just have a look at just maybe one of those months, one of those things that happened, and just ask yourself, what have I learned from that event? Now that I'm looking back at it, what is it that I've learned from that event? And what has that event taught me about who I am? Okay. And there's part of me wishing that I was live so that I could hear. I know there's a few people watching and live, but I'd love to hear what it is that you've experienced there. But just asking yourself those two questions, what is it that I've learned, and what has this taught me about myself? Can really shift the way that of that event. And then again, as I say, that event, the thing that happened, it's not something that I like. It's not something that I'm happy with. However, what it has enabled me to do is really recognize my own, in some ways, my own worth, my own resilience, my own strength, which is as someone who kind of coaches others and helps others, there's always that little bit of doubt within myself as to what I do. However, this has kind of confirmed that, you know what, I can do what I do. I can enjoy what it is that's happening for me. And with that, I'm able to kind of learn so much more and be a stronger person, not only for myself, but also then for others to help them in their path as well. So your realization or your review of all that event and how you change it around may be very different to the way that I've experienced it. However, it is just recognizing that you can shift the way that you look at an event, that you can change the way, shift the way that you feel about an event that has happened. We can't necessarily change the past. I don't think that's possible, even though I think it's Stephen Hawkins has said that you could kind of take off in a rocket and you can land before you took off. It's a little bit of confusing science for me as well. So yeah, I don't know whether you can change the past in that way. I don't think you can change the past. What I do know is that you can change the experience that you have around it, or the way that you feel about it, by turning it around into something great. So taking that dark event, taking that unhappy event, and turning it into something more positive, something that gives you a little bit more of an oomph, something that gives you a little bit more of a, that's a better way of me looking at it. And I don't feel as though that my 2017 is now marred by it. An experience that I didn't like. It's yes, an experience I didn't enjoy. However, I don't have to hold on to those feelings anymore. I can let those go so that I can find something better about 2017. And as I do that, I kind of think, well, you know what? I've actually now got that energy to carry forward, that I've got that strength, I've got that resilience to really kind of just move forward and to do some of the other things that I really want to do. So it's a powerful way of actually just looking at just one single event as what's happened, and just shifting around and just asking yourself those questions. How is it that I can learn from this, and what is it that I can gain? What has it taught me about myself? So now that you've done that, what I want you to do is have a look back at that when we started off. I asked you, what's the first thing you thought of when you thought of 2017? Did it empower you? Did it bring your energy down? How was 2017 for you there? And now looking at it with slightly different eyes, or through a different way, what is it that you notice? What is it that kind of comes up for you? Has that changed? As I say before, it was kind of like it was a horrible year, whereas actually there were some really good things for me, and I feel that I've become stronger for what's happened, and I've able to kind of use that strength to help me in other areas of my life. So having a second look at your first thought about 2017 to see how much it's changed or how much things have turned around for you can again give you a sense of really yeah, there's something quite good about this year. There's something quite actually powerful that I'm now able to then move into 2018 in a much better way. Which kind of leads nicely into what I want to talk about next, which is what do you want to experience in 2018? And I take a bit of water as well. Now, I've been working with dream boards, vision seed maps, the law of manifestation or the law of attraction, manifestation, how to kind of get what you want, get in alignment with it. And I know that there's things that work and there's things that don't work so well. And I think it's all behind your intention. What is it that you're looking for? But these are the things that I'm finding that will work better for me. And that is to really focus on the feeling that I want to experience, or what I want to experience in 2018 year. And I don't focus too much on the actual thing. Now, this is kind of a blown up example, but if you wanted a Ferrari, because all your mates have got one or your friends have got one, and you wanted a Ferrari, and it's got to be kind of the top of the range, and that's and it's the red one, so it looks flashy. Kind of think it's tacky, but if a nice red flashy Ferrari, that's the thing that you wanted to manifest, and that's the things that you want for 2018. What you could do is you could kind of create a vision board, or a dream board, vision seed map, whatever it is that you want to call it, and you put on those pictures of the Ferrari, and you look at it, and you say affirmations to like, the Ferrari comes my way, and I'm enjoying the freedom of driving my Ferrari, and you just kind of keep on focusing and keep on focusing and keep on focusing on that. It could be that when you do get into the Ferrari and you're driving around in the flashy red, that actually it doesn't really give you what it is that you're looking for. Like, it feels good, but it's just not feeling right. And if you've ever heard of buyer's remorse, where you've kind of like, I've got to have this, and when you get it, it's just like, okay, it's not really exactly what I wanted. It's not exactly what I was thinking. You can have that sense with anything that you manifest. I've done it before. I had there was a relationship, and I remember putting on a dream board that I wanted a relationship, and I used chocolate hearts as a way of kind of manifesting this relationship. And the relationship I then entered into shortly afterwards was very sweet, almost sickly. It was just kind of like, yeah, this doesn't feel right. This isn't the kind of relationship I want. And I think it was because I had literally that absolute, that's what I want. That's what the relationship should be. What I've worked out and what's happened for me as I've gone through is that focusing on the feeling of, if you had your Ferrari, what would that give you? Now, I mentioned the way that I kind of went into that was, all your mates have got Ferraris, and so therefore you want a Ferrari because it's that status symbol. But what's the actual feeling behind it? What is it that you really want from that? And it could be that once you have your Ferrari, you'll have acceptance because all your peers have all got Ferraris, so therefore you've joined the club and you have that acceptance. Or it could be that it gives you that sense of stature, it gives you that sense of feeling good about yourself. If I kind of focus on that acceptance, It's best to actually focus on how would I feel accepted? What would acceptance bring to me? If I have that acceptance in my life, what will it give me? So again, with your pen and paper, I'm just going to get you to write down the first things that kind of come to you. So what is it that you want to experience? What is it that you want? Let's leave out the word experience at the moment. So what is it you want for 2018? What is it that you're looking for? Okay. And if you had that, so just use my example, I want a Ferrari, and if I had the Ferrari, it'll give me acceptance. I'd be accepted. If you had that acceptance or that feeling in your life, what would it give you? What would life be like? How would life be different? And the answer maybe is, life would be good. Or you may find that there's another feeling that comes up there. And so the friends good with the Ferrari. So I've got the Ferrari, I feel accepted. And if I feel accepted, then I feel validated as though that I belong. So as you focus on that feeling and what it is that comes out of that feeling, you'll find that manifesting that is actually a lot easier than trying to manifest the Ferrari, or allowing or bringing that particular experience into your life. So I want to just spend a moment now, just like with that feeling. Think about if you brought that feeling into your life, if you had that feeling in your life, how would your life be different? And as you focus on that, I just want you to just close your eyes. You can put your pens down. But as you close your eyes and just focus on that feeling, you notice comes up, what vision comes to mind? What do you see or sense or feel? Okay, that's good. So I'm going to take you just on a short guided visualization because I want to really kind of center and ground this feeling within you. So just focusing on your breath, and as you take just a nice deep breath in, oh, I mean, just imagine that you're walking past a door, and the door's kind of plain, but as you walk up closer to it, you can now see the numbers on there, 2018. And you know that this door is your manifestation door. This is the door that's going to help you create what it is you want to experience in 2018. And as you put your hand on the doorknob, on the handle, you're just getting ready to just turn the knob, just pull the door down. And then as you open the door and you walk inside this room, it's almost as though there's just a blank space here for the moment. You can't see, you can't feel, you can't sense anything. But that feeling that you wanted to experience, that feeling that you wanted to manifest, just begins to just fill up within your heart. And as it fills within your heart just begins to just burst open with light. And that light now just begins to fill this room. And that light filling this room begins to emanate the feeling even more of what it is that you want to create, what it is that you want to experience in this next year. And you're given the time now just to walk around in this space and just be aware of anything that comes to mind as you experience this feeling with intensity, as you have the heightened experience of this feeling. That's good. That's good. And now just giving yourself this moment just to breathe in that feeling once more. And as you breathe in this feeling, breathe it out. And as you breathe it out, you can see it now just filling up the months of 2018. In January, February, March, and April. That feeling just now just emanating going through June, July, and August, September, October, November, and then December. And then maybe beyond, we're just continuing that feeling, just radiating out beyond next year. So that this or something better just starts to happen for you. Just bringing your awareness back to your breath. Bringing your awareness back to where it is that you are. Focusing and allowing yourself this moment in time to just bring yourself back to the present. Knowing that that feeling is going to stay with you in the days, the weeks, and the months ahead. And I'm just going to give you a moment just to write down what it is that you experienced there. What is it that kind of came up for you as you focused on that feeling, as you allowed that feeling to kind of really permeate you? Okay, that's good. So allowing that feeling, there are some things that you can do, and I think I've got instructions on how to create a vision board in my blog. If you type in "cut and paste your future," I think that should come up. But I will be running some cut and paste your future classes in the coming months and weeks, especially doing something online as well. But using that feeling as your anchor is just to kind of like this is the feeling I want to create in my life. This is the feeling that I want to manifest. This is the feeling that I want to experience in 2018. It's something that can really help you step forward. And we're going to do one more exercise a little bit later, which is just about how you can take the next step and helping yourself to kind of really create that feeling. But one of the important things before you start manifesting, for me, before you start setting your intentions, before you start really focusing on kind of like creating something, is to actually kind of give yourself space to for that new thing to come in. And it's a favorite of mine, and it is clutter clearing, because the best way I can always describe it, and the best way I always get action out of people, is a lot of people say, "Well, I want to feel abundant," and there's obviously a whole lot about abundance that we could do. But I always say to people, "Okay, so what's your purse like? Your handbag, your wallet? You want to feel abundant, but what's your purse like?" Oh, well, my purse is full. It's kind of got full of receipts and credit cards and um, shop cards and membership cards and things, my purse is just full. And then my next question is, okay, so if the universe was to start bringing abundance and start bringing, that physical abundance, money to you, could you fit it into your purse? Could you fit it into your wallet? And usually the answer is no. It's usually, well, no, I need to make some space. And I then have a black bag or a rubbish bag, and I say, okay, clear out all the stuff that you don't need, all the stuff that you're just holding on to. I always in the UK in particular, whatever shop you go into, they always ask you, are you part of our loyalty scheme? Are you part of our membership? Do you want to be? And I actually always say no. There's only 2 or 3 that I belong to, and that's probably supermarkets. But all the others, I'm just like, no. One, that all they want to do is give me my information so they can sell me stuff later. But 2, I then have a card in my wallet that's kind of then taking up space, and I don't need that. I just need to keep in the cards that I really need, and usually those are just my debit cards, a credit card, my driver's license, and a couple of other my other couple of membership cards that I do use. The rest of it, I don't need to keep all those receipts in there. The only things that I should have in my wallet is my money. So, with that analogy, think about your home. So, good thing to do is clear out your purse. If you want to kind of get some abundance, clear out your purse, your handbag, get rid of all the receipts and the old things that you don't need anymore, or the things that you think I might use that later. That's no good. We don't want to kind of hold that energy anymore because we want new, fresh energy coming in. But also now just applying that to your home and looking at clutter clearing the things that you no longer love, the things that you no longer need. And I know clearing out the stuff that you don't love and there's things that you don't need. Clutter is, for me, is usually stuff that's just kind of accumulated and is sitting there and it's doing nothing. And I'm not the best at this. I have lots of that around in my home. But what I have started to do is really be aware of when I'm doing using something. Am I just putting it back for the sake of it, or do I really love this? Do I really need it? Now, I'm going to ask you, just close your eyes for a moment and think of your bedroom. And just ask yourself honestly, we're not here to judge, but is your bedroom, is it cluttered or is it kind of free moving? If you were to walk in your bedroom, could you walk around easily? If you were looking for a particular t-shirt or shirt or a dress, or an item of clothing, could you find it easily? Do you know where it is? And if the answer is kind of no to a couple of those things there, then it's a good place to start in clutter clearing is to kind of with your bedroom. Have the things in there that you love and the things that you use. If you don't use them, if you don't love them, but they're there, then it's time for them to kind of find a new home or to move on in some other way. The reason I say the bedroom, it's the place that you spend the majority of your time. We rest there, we recuperate our energy, we recharge our batteries in the bedroom. So taking the time out to really just clear out the bedroom, clear out the bedroom so that it's light and airy, and that it enables you to allow new energy to kind of come in, is such a great way of actually just starting to get ready for the new year and to allow yourself to bring in those new experiences as well. Giving yourself that time also in the bedroom means that you then start to actually sleep better, and there's a whole lot of benefits of kind of looking at clutter clearing. And some of the tips and the hints that I have for clutter clearing in particular is, first of all, is set a time. If I never say kind of like just spend all day clutter clearing your bedroom, always put a timer to it. So if you say you've got an hour, I'm going to say set a timer for half an hour. Okay. And spend the first half an hour and really kind of clearing out the stuff that you don't want. And then spend the other half an hour actually just kind of reorganizing or putting things back that you do love. So, for example, if you have, and this is my own personal experience, I've got a set of drawers in a wardrobe and they're kind of full of t-shirts and everything. So what I'm going to have to do is kind of pull all my t-shirts out, work out which ones I love, which ones I really want to keep, and then kind of get rid of the rest. If I was to just kind of not set a time to it and just kind of do it whenever, I wouldn't actually get it done. That's just me. You may work slightly differently, but what I found is by giving myself a limit and saying, right, okay, I've got half an hour to clear out, so I'm going to do 15 minutes of clearing and sorting through, and then 15 minutes putting back in a more loving way, so that I know that the things that I have there have a little bit more energy to them, that they've got more of an essence because they're the things that I really love. The other thing that I also do is to really play some funky, upbeat music. I love Latin music, anything where it's got kind of a dancey beat to it, anything that's going to kind of keep you moving. Don't pay any ballads or things that kind of have a slow tempo, because really you want to kind of get in the energy of doing with your clutter clearing is really kind of getting into it. Have that time set and just kind of get on with it. So clearing out the things that you don't use and the things that you don't love anymore. I have a t-shirt. It's beautiful. It was given to me as a Christmas present. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit, and I keep holding on to it in that sense of like I'm going to fit into it one day, and I'm really not. So I'm going to have to make the decision. I'm going to have to kind of put it out. The other thing that I would recommend is not to touch your things as much as you do. Now, there's sales techniques that they use. When you go into a shop, have you ever noticed that they'll give you something? Why don't you just hold this? Because what happens is the more that you hold on to something, the more attachment that you get to it. And they've done this test in auction rooms, and it was that people that were given items for like 10, 15 minutes to hold and to touch and to play with, they bet, or they in the auction room they kind of bid. Sorry, it's not bet, is bid. They bid a lot more money on the things that they had been touching as opposed to the things that they hadn't been touching, because we have that kind of energetic and that sense of kind of this belongs to us. So don't spend too much time kind of really touching everything. Kind of just go with it. Just kind of go in and just say, you'll know if it's something you love, you'll know if it's something you use, because it will just be like, yep, that's okay. But if it's something you're not too sure about, you can always put things away and maybe check through it later on. But the less that you touch and hold on to things, the better, because then you're not going to have so much of an attachment to it. So, as I say, I recommend kind of doing the bedroom. First of all, that's a great room to actually do. The other one that's good is the bathroom. Getting rid of kind of the old bottles that have just a little bit of shampoo or a little bit of stuff in them. Again, personal experience, and that's just my housemate as well. But just kind of holding on to those little bits, and kind of holding on to them just kind of gives you that sense of, well, I don't need to get new stuff. Whereas actually we want that new energy to come in. We want to bring that in. And having a good clear out before the new year is great. It doesn't have to be whenever you do that clutter clearing, whenever you do that clearing out, it will just help start that energy. It will help start that movement. The last thing I would say about clutter clearing, and it comes from my my good friend Felicia Diati. She had this brilliant line at a conference that we was at, and it was just go shopping in your own home. And so when you're looking through your stuff, just ask yourself, if I went shopping, would I buy this again? And if the answer is no, then it's really time for that stuff to go. So give yourself that sense of clearing out the stuff that you no longer need. Because, and again, if I go back to the wallet and the purse, the less that you have where space is taken up, the more that is able to kind of come to you. So the less space, space that there is, that it gives you the more opportunity for new things to come in. All right, so the last thing, and this has been action packed, so I'm glad it's recorded so you can kind of go over to the bits that you want. But the last thing is what action can you take now to make 2018 great? Okay, so what I want you to do is, again, just kind of sit nice and comfortably and think about that feeling, and really, what is it, that feeling that you want to experience, that feeling that you want to create, that thing, that the essence of what it is that you're looking for. What is it that you want to bring into 2018? And just taking a nice deep breath in, just breathing that feeling in so it just permeates throughout the whole of your body, and then letting that breath go. Okay, that's good. Taking another deep breath in, allowing that feeling just to kind of fill your body up, and then letting go. Okay, that's good. That's good. And now just asking yourself, what is it that I need to do? What's the first thing that comes into my mind so that I can create this feeling? And then just jot down whatever it is that comes to mind, whatever it is that comes up for you. Okay, that's good. And as you look at that, is that something that's possible for you now? Or is it a bit too big? And if it's a bit too big, what's one little step that I can take? What's one little thing that I can do to allow that feeling to come in? All right, that's good. And then I'm just going to ask again, what's one other thing that I could do today that would help me start to create that feeling in my life, to help me create that experience? Mhm. That's good. And now just closing your eyes, taking a nice deep breath in, and travel with me in your mind, your imagination, as you find yourself now just heading towards the end of 2018. Visualizing, sensing that feeling within your life. What does life look like? What has happened? What do you notice? That's good. And once more, taking a nice deep breath in, bringing yourself to present time, present place, being aware of the chair underneath you, and just taking a nice deep breath in, letting go, and then twiddling your toes, flexing your fingers, and when you're ready, just opening your eyes. All right. Well, those are some of the things that you can do to kind of help make 2018 great. And I certainly believe that just having that review of 2017 so that you're not maybe held back by, like me, that kind of real negative energy allows you to then step forward to 2018. It's such a different clarity with such a different way. Being aware of what it is that you want to experience, the feeling, and bringing it down to a feeling and allowing that to be your anchor to manifesting will really help. And then just clutter clearing, clearing out some of the old stuff that's been that's around you physically. Also, there's mental clutter as well. So clearing out old emails. In some ways, clearing out if you're on a Facebook as well, clearing out the friends on Facebook that you don't speak to anymore. I do that as well. It's just clearing out those that you don't need to really speak to or hold on to energy with anymore. And then just asking yourself, okay, so what can I do to create this? The thing that I've noticed in manifestation is that people think that I can just put it up on a vision board and then it will make its way to me, or I can kind of send that thought out and it will make its way to me. And I certainly believe in meeting the universe halfway and meeting spirit halfway, and just asking, what can I do? And following that intuition, following that little piece of insight. So thank you for joining me. A couple of specials that I've got going on the webpage, and I'll link it to the YouTube video as well, is I do offer personal coaching. So if you're wanting some help in kind of really focusing and achieving your goals and achieving the things that you want to experience, then you may want to be interested in kind of booking a personal coaching session with me, because I'll be certainly there to help you, hold your hand, and walk you through some of the things that we've talked about in more greater detail, but also help you to really kind of live the life that you want to live. And also, I'm doing rune readings now. On my Facebook page, I do a daily rune reading, and I'm for a short period of time. It's only going to be in the next 2-3 weeks. So up until maybe the second week of January, I'm going to be offering personal rune readings in the form of a journal, or so it's a year oracle card reading or year rune reading, where I pull runes out that will be just for you, give you my intuitive insight, but also they'll be asking some questions or things for you to be aware of in the coming 12 months. Um, but visit me on Facebook for your daily readings. But also, if you aren't already on my newsletter, then do sign up. So I send out a monthly newsletter with some other things, including coaching training that's coming up this April in London, which I'm very excited about. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you've enjoyed it. And if you've got any questions, again, please don't hesitate. Email me at terryspiritual@gmail.com or connect with me via Facebook and we will connect there. But thanks very much. I hope you have a great festive season and that 2018 really is great for you. Take care. Bye.